People who found out they were gay as adults. What sparked this realization? I have always considered myself comfortable with who I have grown to be. I have worked hard in life, have a 4-year degree, a great career, loving friends, and a wonderful family. In many ways I have done well for myself. However, in terms of love, I am missing my mark. I have been single for about 7 years. Following my last relationship, I decided to take a break from the dating scene and work on my career goals. So far, it's paid off. But I have felt unfulfilled in the love department. Recently, a friend of mine invited me out for beers and darts. We usually go to the same little pub, where we know most of the normal faces. It's not uncommon for us to mix with the people playing at the board next to us. This night was no different. 2 guys set up on the board next to ours and we made small talk with them. One of the men said his goodbyes and left, the other guy stayed behind and shot darts by himself. We offered him a place on our board and shot some games. Things got fun, we drank quite a bit and it was really enjoyable. My friend said he was ready to take off, but James and I were having a good time, so we decided to stay a bit longer. My friend took off, James and I had a couple more rounds. We had quite a bit in common and it felt like I was hanging out with an old friend. He told me he had a rec room with a pool table and dartboards at his house with a built-in bar. He showed me a few pictures of the room and I was thoroughly impressed. He suggested we go hang out there and I was on board. Since neither of us drove to the bar, we caught an Uber to his house, which was only a few minutes away. We shot a few games of pool and chatted about our past relationships, careers, college, upbringing, and so on. James is a lot like me, never married and a career-minded guy. Things sort of took a turn in conversation when James asked me about my sexuality. He asked if I ever had a phase or experimented. I sort of laughed a bit and said no, that wasn't something I'd ever done. He made 1 or 2 small remarks about it in jest and that was it. About another hour passed and I told him I was taking off. We exchanged numbers and agreed to hang out again the following weekend, foregoing the bar and hanging out at his place to cook out on the grill. I get home, off to bed, I get a text from him asking if I made it home safe. I didn't think too much into it, but I did tell him I got home safe. The next day, I got up and did my normal Sunday of going on a jog, hitting my favorite lunch spot and recovering the rest of the day on the couch. At about 3 p.m. I got a text from James asking if I was interested in coming over later. He was going to grill some fish up and have a couple friends over. I thought that would be fun, so I went. We had another good time. This time I only stayed a couple hours and when I got there he told me his 2 friends canceled, so it would just be us. It wasn't a huge deal, he was good company. He sent me a text about 10 minutes after leaving saying he had fun and is looking forward to the weekend plans we made. I texted him back that I was looking forward to it as well. The following day James sent me a text telling me about something funny that happened to him at work that morning. I don't keep my phone on me during work, so I didn't see it until lunchtime. I feel like it's important to note, I don't text people throughout the day. So to me, James is reaching out more than I'm used to friends doing. I looked forward to talking to him. After work I went to the gym as usual. I saw someone who kinda looked like him and it made me think of him. On one of the TVs in front of the treadmills they were showing a TV show we talked about. It made me think of him. At the grocery store picking up dinner stuff, I walked past the seafood section and it made me think of him. We texted throughout the week. I even started keeping my phone at my desk so I could text him. This isn't like me at all. Finally, Saturday comes around and plans go off like normal. I actually got to his place a couple hours early. He suggested I invite my friend I was with when we met. I did and Mark came along with me. We all had a terrific time. James cooked for us, we had plenty to eat and drink, spent time in the pool, it was a blast. The end of the night came around, Mark said he wanted to take off and again, I felt the urge to stay and hang out longer. Which is exactly what I did. This time we sat on his pool deck until 2 a.m. talking about everything you could imagine. I realized the time and had to take off. He understood and instead of shaking hands he hugged me. This was not usual for me whatsoever, but it felt so naturally acceptable. It was almost like I wanted him to do it. I left and this time I texted him from my Uber telling him that I'll let him know when I arrive safely. That was a week ago. We didn't hang out this past weekend, but we texted daily and made plans to go hiking this coming Saturday. I thought about the way I feel about him and I've concluded it's the same way you feel when you meet someone who you fall in love with. Coupling that with him questioning me if I've ever fooled around with guys or had an experimental phase. I'm torn. I love this feeling and I think I'm falling in love with this guy. But it feels so strange. He is definitely flirting with me and I have decided I am definitely flirting back with him. I guess I'm gay now.